Well, hi everyone. I hope everyone had a great July 4th weekend. I was in Atlanta with my family. We had a family reunion. So I was actually supposed to make a video, but that's what I was doing. So sorry guys, but this video took a lot of research. And it is dedicated especially to Danielle Jenkins. Shout out to you. You're awesome because you asked a great question, and I would love to get this information out to everybody because it's very important. It's vital for when you're choosing your nursing career and what path you want to go down. It's very important to understand the different programs that nursing has, the difference in those programs, and very important information like that. So this video is dedicated to that information specifically. And it came from Danielle Jenkins. And so basically what you really need to understand is that nursing has a lot of different paths, and they're all different based on role in the nursing field, salary, and things of that sort. The important thing to remember, and one thing that I want to make sure that I get out of the way before I even get into anything else, is that all roles in nursing are very important. We are all very vital to the medical field. There is not one that is greater than the other, from an assistant to an LPN to an RN to a nurse practitioner. We all play a major role. And so please don't think that I am knocking one role versus the other. Don't think that I'm talking down on one versus the other, because I feel that we are all needed. And so with that being said, a lot of the information that I've received is just from knowledge that I know already. We also had to take a class in my BSN program, Foundations, that taught us this information. Honestly, I forgot a lot of this information, so it took me to do research on it, and that's another reason why it took me a while to make this video. The information that I did get is from my textbooks from my program as well as online. So with that being said, I am not an expert at all of this information. Please don't think that, I am 100% accurate on everything I say. And I try to be as choose sources that are as reliable as possible. But if you feel that I've said anything wrong, or you would like to add information, definitely comment and let me know. And I highly recommend you research this information on your own, because it's important for you to understand whatever program you're going in, what that is. So I would recommend that. But with that being said, most of the information I have, I feel is accurate, just because of the sources that I went to. And if there's anything that I missed or may have said incorrectly, like I said, let me know. Please comment so that everybody else can get the right information. And so basically, I'm going to start off with each role as a nurse being I'm going to start off with the one that's the lowest salary. Once again, not one role is not more important than the other. That's just how I'm gonna go by. By the way, I'm looking at my computer. That's why I keep looking down, because I wanted to write down this information, because I don't want to give y'all nothing wrong. So the first one is a UAP, an unlicensed assistant personnel. Their salary is $25,000. Basically, this is an assistant in the hospital setting, or nursing home or whatever setting. Generally speaking, the UAPs don't assess clients. They don't plan care. They don't evaluate the outcomes of a client. They're more for taking vitals. They're more for basic needs of a patient. They help with general things such as the patient ambulating, eating, grooming the patient, bathing the patient, things of that sort. So you see a lot of UAP questions on NCLEX test. And the most important thing to remember with these assistants is that they only really take vitals and do the basic needs. So if you have a question or, that says, the UAP, the nurse asked the UAP to do this, which one is correct? If it is, clean a trach, that's wrong. If it is, administer warfarin, that's wrong. They only do vitals, period. And, once again, basic needs. And so that kind of helps you understand what a UAP is. The next one is an LPN, a licensed practical nurse. Their salary is about $41,000 a year. And LPNs differ from RNs in two main areas: their educational preparation and their scope of practice. They usually have 1 year of study, sometimes 2. The main thing with LPNs is they are dependent practitioners. Which means that they are under supervision of another professional, such as a registered nurse. They do not work by themselves. Like you see nurses in the hospital going in their patient's room independently. They're not really under anybody. There's a charge nurse, but you know what I mean. They're not really under anybody. LPNs are under RNs. Under RN supervision. And basically LPNs, they also take an NCLEX. It is not the RN NCLEX, it's a PN NCLEX, which I think is practical nurse NCLEX. And they do a lot also. They can collect lab specimens. They can do sterile procedures such as dressing changes and wound care. They can administer meds is what I'm reading. I have to double check that. I don't know why that sounds wrong to me. It might not. But anyways, so they do less complex nursing care needs. They are really similar to RNs. They do a lot that RNs do. A lot. But there's just some differences that hence why RNs have a different salary pay and have a different job title. So LPN is that route is very popular. That route is, it's a great route. I don't knock that at all. And the good thing about LPN is if you do become an LPN and later on decide you do want to be an RN, they have different programs at different colleges that are LPN to RN programs. So if you're an LPN now and you're looking to be an RN, definitely look up those schools and look up what their programs consist of. And if you're thinking about being an LPN or an RN, which is what Danielle Jenkins was questioning, then just keep going with me and you'll understand the difference between LPN and RN. So RN, which is my next one, their salary is about $65,000 a year. Now RNs don't start off at $65,000 usually. We build up, which is great. Our salary is awesome with RNs, but from my research, the average RN salary is $65,000 a year. There are three types of RN programs. The first one is a diploma in nursing. Now, this is not a popular program anymore. They're not really available anymore, but the reason I am mentioning it is because it does exist and it's important to know. These are hospital-based programs. They were way more popular a long time ago, but whenever they came out with the associate's degree RN program, it kind of wiped this one out. So very few of them remain. So I won't really talk much about that one. The other one is a 2-year associate's degree in nursing. I honestly didn't even know they had a 2-year RN program until after I started the RN program. So this is something new to me too, but they do have an associate's degree in nursing, and you are an RN. I used to think that the only way you can be an RN is if you get a bachelor's. That is not true. You can get a 2-year associate's degree. Now, before I get into this, please understand that be careful, like when you go to schools and you ask them about associate's degrees in nursing, because not all nursing associate's degrees are for you to become an RN. Like me, I have an associate's degree in pre-nursing. A lot of people think, like when I say that, they think like when I got that degree, they thought that I could just go in the hospital and be a nurse. I cannot. The associate's degree that I got is a pre-nursing. It only had me do like general ed courses, and it was basically designed for you to transfer to become an RN with the bachelor's level. So when you go to these different colleges, just make sure that if this is the route you want to go, let them know that you're interested in getting a 2-year associate's degree in nursing to become an RN. And mine is an associate's of science, which is just, basically I took my prereqs at one school and transferred to another instead of going to another school for 4 years straight to a university. So I'm sorry if that sounds really confusing. I will clarify it. Just comment and I will let you guys know a little bit more information if need be. The 2-year associate's degree in nursing is very similar to the 4-year because you get a lot of the same classes. They still take P's, they still take OB, they still take Med-Surg. It is very similar, and they have the same job title in the hospital. They make the same thing as a bachelor's level RN. So in that sense, there is no difference. They also take an NCLEX RN, which is the same thing that bachelor's level nurses take. So it's very similar. I will explain why it's different. And Danielle, I promise I'm going to answer your question on if you're going to be selling yourself short taking LPN versus RN. I will definitely answer that question. But first, let me explain the 4-year BSN. That is the program that I'm in. And basically, it's the same prereqs and classes that the associate's degree takes, like I said before. Now, there's 2 ways you can really get the BSN. You can either go to a university and do your whole 4 years there, or like I did, I went to the community college and took my prereqs and got my associate's degree, and then I transferred to a university and I'm obtaining my bachelor's now. The reason I did that is because at a community college they are so much cheaper, and I went for free. I actually got paid to go to school, so I get paid like $3,000 every semester to go to school. So that's why I kind of chose that route. Also, I was getting married, and I didn't really want to have a college life, like that young type life. So I decided to go to a community college and live at home with my husband and do that. Blah, 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 blah. That's a whole nother video. But all that is to say that the 4-year bachelor's degree is the longest nursing program, other than like your master's and stuff. But the difference in BSN and all the other nursing programs is that a BSN focuses more on leadership and management. As bachelor's level nurses, we are taught to research. They're very strong about teaching us evidence-based practice, management skills, and so we have a lot of responsibility as a BSN nurse. We are looked at as professional nurses. Not that all the other nurses aren't considered professional, but are as a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, we are, that's just our title. We're considered professional nurses, and we're considered to be ones that have been trained in leadership and management. And so, for example, we take evidence-based practice. That's an actual class that we take, and it's a research-based class that we are, we're supposed to learn, or we learn how to actually research, so that other than critical thinking in the healthcare field, we are trained to actually get correct information from reliable sources and sites. That's very important. It might not sound important, but that is one of the things that we're taught to do that others are not. And so other than that, the most important thing about a BSN that the other programs do not have is if you're looking to move up in your profession, such as being a nursing manager or a, whatever role that they may have, you cannot take on those management roles unless you have a BSN. That is not in all cases, I don't think. Just from what I've researched and what I've been told, a lot of those higher level management jobs, usually require a BSN nurse to be able to qualify. Another thing which I've noticed just researching, and I've been told by other practitioners and hospitals, is that usually hospitals and clinics and things of that sort hire BSN nurses before they hire other nurses. Usually it'll say like BSN preferred or something like that, just because we are trained once again with leadership and management. That is not, I'm not at all saying that other nurses will not get a job. That is not what I'm saying, and I'm not saying, again, that BSN nurses are better than any other nurses. All I'm saying is that lately what is being seen is that a lot of places are preferring to have BSN nurses. So you'll see that a lot of times on applications. A lot of times if a BSN nurse applies and other nurses that are not BSN qualified apply, a lot of times the BSN nurse will get the job first. And so that's a pro to having a BSN nurse. Now, to answer your question, Danielle, do I feel like you're selling yourself short getting an LPN or being an LPN or associate's degree nurse? Honestly, yes. And the reason I say that is because if you think about it, you're learning the same skills as a BSN nurse. Y'all are doing the same thing pretty much as a BSN nurse, but you're getting paid over $20,000 less. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I go for something, and I go all out. You know, I'm going the farthest that I can, meaning that if I'm gonna go be a nurse, I'm not gonna stop at a CNA, I'm not gonna stop at an LPN, I'm not gonna stop at a RN. I'm gonna keep on moving up. The more money, the better for me. And although BSN is 4 years and LPN is 1 and associates is 2, I know a lot of people want to cut that time short, and school does take a while. But if you think about it, by the time, you know, some people are going part-time and you take a break and you still got summers left, I mean, you're going to be taking up 3 or 4 years anyway just to get your associates or just to get an LPN. So you might as well get your bachelor's for 1-2 extra semesters or however many it is. Another reason I say that is because in 10 years, you don't know what you're going to want to do. And if you decide in 10 years, I want to be a nurse practitioner, and you have an associate's degree, you got to go back to school and take everything that you've already taken and spend more money just so that you can have a BSN to go get your master's. When right now, you could just go ahead and knock that out and get your BSN. And so I do feel like you sell yourself short unless you know in your heart that you want to be a nurse and you don't want to really move higher than that as far as being a nurse practitioner or, you know, get a doctorate or anything. If you feel and know that you're not going to even want to do that, you want to remain a registered nurse, then so be it. Then that's the route that you can go, and, you know, that's great. But for those of you who are like me and really, you know, in 10 years might want to have a clinic of your own and want to be able to have the independence to be able to prescribe medicine, then I definitely recommend the BSN program, because you're already there. All you got to do is now go back another 4 semesters for your master's. And so I definitely recommend the Bachelor of Science degree. I don't feel that you're wasting time. I don't feel like it's you know, I honestly feel like that's the best route to go, you know, as a professional nurse. And so with that being said, once you obtain your BSN and you do decide that you want to move up, whether that be next year or 10 years from when you get your degree, then you can become a nurse practitioner and go get your master's. Nurse practitioner salaries are $89,000 to $96,000. Like, come on, who would not want that salary? Like, that, I don't know about y'all, but that sounds lovely to me. And BSN is usually required for entry in these programs. So, you know, that's awesome. Nurse practitioners, they have a specialty, whether it be OB, Peds, geriatrics, family care. They prescribe medicine, and, you know, they have the potential to have their own clinics. So that is a great route to go if you ever want to be independent and you get tired of being in the hospital or being wherever. Then nurse practitioner is the way to go once again, and I would recommend getting your BSN if you know for sure that in the future you want to be a nurse practitioner. And so that's pretty much it with those different programs. If you have any other questions, please let me know about these programs. I'm more than happy to clarify or answer them for you guys. And I hope I answered your question, Danielle. There was another thing that I wanted to talk about. Another Danielle Johnson, I believe. Hi, Danielle Johnson. She asked me how I keep myself sane, pretty much. Like with, I'm looking for her question now. But with, you know, like school, spiritually, mentally, how do I stay focused? How do I remain sane? And spiritually, definitely praying. I pray a lot. When I'm in school, I pray on my way to school. I pray on my way from school. I pray before every test. And you just have to talk to God, just like a regular conversation. And, you know, a lot of people think that sometimes talking, I don't know what word to use, but not talking down at God, but like talking to God angry is wrong, and it's not. When you're angry and you feel like you're not getting blessed, or you feel like, you know, God's not there, I think that it's only right to talk to God and let him know that. And so I keep myself sane while I'm in school by just talking to God and being honest with him and myself. If I feel overwhelmed and I feel stressed and I feel like, you know, there's so many things that are going on in school and in life trying to balance, then I talk to God and I let him know, God, I'm upset. And I don't know what's going on, but I really need you. And I don't think this is fair. And, you know, you just have to talk to God. And here's your message, Miss Johnson. So talk to God, pray, keep faith, and know that God is there even when you get upset. You know, that's how you do that spiritually. Diet and exercise. Girl, why did you ask me that? I try to do good with diet and exercise. I still got a little baby fat I gotta lose, but you know, during school, I do think it's very important to take snacks to class, drink plenty of water. That's all I drink is my coffee in the morning and water, and sometimes juice. But school is very long. Sometimes you have 12-hour days, and me and my friends, we have classes back to back sometimes. 3-hour class, another 3-hour class, then a lab. So take snacks, take healthy snacks, pretzels, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, just, you know, things like that, because you need to make sure that you're not hungry all day. I do that sometimes, like I won't take anything to eat, and the times where I didn't bring my husband's card, or, you know, I don't have cash on me, I'm hungry all day, and that is not healthy for you. So you just make sure that you bring snacks to class, eat them, drink a lot of water, and get plenty of rest. Rest is so important, and in nursing school it's really hard to sleep, especially with a schedule. But I find, honestly, that if I stay up all night and study for a test, I do way worse than if I just was like, you know what, I've studied as hard as I can. It is 8 p.m. My test is tomorrow at 9 a.m. I need to go to bed and get rest. If I get my full rest, I do so good, so much better on that test than if I would have studied. So even when you feel like the last 3 or 4 hours is vital the night before a test for you to study, I'm telling you now, rest, pray, and tell God that, you know, I've utilized as much time as I can. I've studied. God, I need you, and I'm asking you to please take over my mind, take over my thoughts as I'm taking this test in the morning. And, you know, please allow me to remember the material that I studied. And you rest, I promise you'll do good on that test. So definitely just make sure you're resting, you're sleeping as much as time allows, especially the night before a test, and make sure that you're not missing any meals. Exercise, okay, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm not good with exercise. I'm trying my best. You know, I try to run when I can, I try to walk when I can, but that's important too. And honestly, and I'm gonna be real with y'all, when you're in nursing school, exercise is the last thing you're thinking about. At least for me, it's the last thing I'm thinking about. But I find it very important as well. Walk when you can, do whatever you can to make sure that you're remaining active, because when you're in a hospital and you're standing for 12 hours a day, that becomes very important. And so make sure you're doing that. And then mentally, that is probably one of the most important things that you need to make sure that you have taken care of when you're in nursing school. Mentally, it is exhausting, it's very draining, and sometimes you find yourself down and depressed and lost and just confused about why life got to be so hard. And I say this all the time to y'all: cry. Like, it is okay. Crying is not a sign of weakness, and I cry all the time. So make sure that if you're frustrated, let it out, wipe your tears, and move on. Communicate. I cannot explain to y'all enough how important it is. Talk to your spouse, talk to God first, and then talk to your family second. Talk to your friends and cry, because it's going to happen. But at the end of the day, understand that nursing school is not your life, like I said before, and keep on moving. And you have to wake up with your head high and understand that I'm doing this for a reason, and it's going to end well. So just keep on going. And even I'm here if you have nobody else. I know a lot of you always mention that you guys don't really have support. I'm here for y'all, and even if I have to give y'all my phone number, I will do that, because I'm a mom and I am a student. And for all y'all women who message me, I understand. I've been there. And yeah, I have a husband, and yeah, I have friends, but sometimes even when you have all these people around you who love you, sometimes you just get to the point where you still feel like you have nobody. So trust me when I tell you, I've been there, done that, and you will get through it. Just mentally keep yourself healthy, spiritually keep your relationship with God, and everything will work out. And so I hope that this video helps you guys. Like I said, I think it's so important to understand the difference in these programs, because this is your lives we're talking about. This is your career. So definitely do your own research on whatever program you decide to get into. Make sure you understand it. Make sure that you understand in the future, if you decide to do something else, how can you proceed with doing that in the position that you're in at that time, whether it be in the LPN, as an LPN or an RN. And like I said, if you guys have any questions or anything, message me, comment.